The next benchmark that I forgot or didn't know to cover in Isaiah 53 is the period from Isaiah 53:3. I had in the video said that Isaiah 53:3 and 4 are 70 syllables, which they are, but I miscounted the syllables between the two verses, and I thought that they didn't add up to 7 until you got the end of Isaiah 53:4. When I just finished doing these videos in Yapping Part 10, and I was trying to explain the syllables, I realized I had corrected the misaccounting between the two verses, and each verse is equal to 35 syllables. So you just finished seeing, hopefully, the Manasseh video showing how Isaiah 53:1 and 2 are 56 syllables. That takes you to the end of Manasseh, his death. But it's also 56 years after Isaiah writes, so it takes you to 656 BC. You see the cleverness in this? I mean, even in our modern calendars, God foreknew that by the time I'd be doing this, that we'd be calling it 56. It's 656 BC at the end of, I don't know if I can talk. It's 656 BC at the end of Isaiah 53:2. I couldn't ask for more and better confirmation that I counted the syllables right. You got that? So excuse my shock, all right? But then he also corrected me. Isaiah 53:3 is 35 syllables. So now the question is, okay, what is God benchmarking via Isaiah back in 712 BC to occur 56 plus 35 years later? Okay, so what time is that? Well, 656 minus 35 is, sorry, I'm having trouble talking, 621 BC. Okay, well, what's he benchmarking there? Well, he's benchmarking Josiah. Josiah was one of the good kings. So he benchmarks one of the bad kings who, confessed his sin and cleaned up his act and then dies. Now he's benchmarking the next guy, Josiah. Okay, but it turns out, and I didn't know this until just now, it turns out that the prediction of Josiah, oh, my mouse went bad, figures. Okay, when it's important about God, something has to go wrong with the computer. The prediction about Josiah was made back in Jeroboam's day. Now, I don't know how well you remember Israeli history, but basically after Solomon died, there was this guy named Rehoboam. He was a real jerk. And the 10 tribes basically rebelled against him. So God went and had a prophet go to a guy named Jeroboam. You can read this story in 1 Kings. And he said to Jeroboam, listen, Rehoboam's a real jerk, and if you will follow me, take the 10 tribes yourself and set up your kingdom, and I'll make you king. And I'll continue the line, of the promise through you, rather than David. I can't prove that Jeroboam was a son of David. All right, that's how bad Rehoboam was. Okay, so Jeroboam, takes God up on his offer. You can read all about this in 1 Kings. I want to, hurry up through this video. But at some point, Jeroboam gets real, fat-headed, and decides that, what I'm going to do? I'm going to set up my own temple. I'm going to set up another golden calf. All right? And I'm going to make Israel go there lest they, be loyal to Judah. Okay, so this is about him doing that. Okay? He uses the 8th day of the 8th month and the 15th day of the month. Okay? Like the feast which is in Judah. He's trying to compete. And thus he did in Bethel. Bethel means house of God in Hebrew. Okay, sacrificing to the calves he had made. See that? There's a play on the Exodus. All right? Now, when he does this, a man of God comes to Judah, from Judah, and says, "Oh, altar." He's prophesying against the altar, because it's a bad altar. It's a fake God altar. All right? "A son shall be born to the house of David, Josiah by name. And on you, this Josiah, shall sacrifice the priests of the high places of, Jeroboam's fake god. All right, so Josiah is a predicted king. Now understand that this is all happening after, before Isaiah was even born. I think it's before Isaiah was born. Yeah. Or is it after? No, it's before. It's before. No, it's before. Yeah, it's before. See, it's 1 Kings 13. All right, it's in 1 Kings 20 or so that Hezekiah comes to the throne. All right, so that's why Isaiah, writing afterwards, is benchmarking to somebody who's still going to come after him. All right, because Josiah becomes king right here, just after Manasseh. All right, he's the guy who came after Manasseh. See, Manasseh, that's his granddad. All right, so Ammon came after Manasseh, and the people made Josiah's son king in his place. So this is the predicted Josiah from 1 Kings 13 that happened before Isaiah was born. And when Isaiah is prophesying, he's still prophesying. He's benchmarking in Isaiah 53:3 to Josiah, and specifically to 621 BC of Josiah's reign. Josiah reigned, let me show you. This is the reigning of the kings. Okay, you got Manasseh here, 697 to 642. That's the 55 years. Okay, and 656 is between the 2 years. That's when he has his change of heart. Okay, but God doesn't take back the decree. He had said the decree. We saw that already in the previous video. Okay. After him came Amnon, who only ruled for 2 years, and after him came the predicted from Isaiah, from 1 Kings 13, the predicted Josiah. Okay, so his reign was from 640 to 609. I got these dates, by the way, from Zondervan's copy of the I forget which study Bible, NASB study Bible. I haven't checked them yet, but they're reasonably close. Okay, so 621 BC is the next benchmark that Isaiah 53:3 is using. And so it's between the two dates in Josiah. So the question is, what in Josiah's reign is Isaiah benchmarking to? This is just a short addendum to the question of what happened in 621 BC to Josiah. I want to preface it by showing that Jeremiah was there as a prophet. Okay? He was the son of Hilkiah, who's going to be real important in the next video. All right? Hilkiah was the high priest. So Jeremiah himself was legally able to succeed Hilkiah as a high priest. And he was commissioned by God in the 13th year of Josiah. And he kept on prophesying until the 11th year of Zedekiah. Now that matters a whole lot, because there is this completely stupid claim by some people who really can't read the Bible or history very well, who say that in 621 BC, that was when the book of Moses started getting written. Okay, well, if that was true, then how come Psalm 90, which we can prove was written in 1400 BC, exists? By Moses, we know it was written. Okay? So, is it just possible that, yes, that book of the Bible was lost in the temple, just like Jeremiah says? See, here's Psalm 90. I'm going to do a future video translating it into the same meter that Moses uses in the Hebrew. It's very old Hebrew. Okay, like this word for God here was a word that was used by Moses, but that phraseology for God was not used in the time of Isaiah. All right? And it wasn't used by Jeremiah either. Okay, the words, the Hebrew is older here. Much older. All right? So how do they explain the fact that Deuteronomy is written in that old Hebrew? okay, which wasn't in use in 621 BC. And who's the guy who found it? Jeremiah. Okay, 13th year. Okay, 13th year. That's when Jeremiah comes. Okay, but he finds the Bible in the temple. We're going to cover that in the next video. Okay, he found it. Jeremiah is the guy who found it. Alright? And that's why 621 BC is important, as you'll see in the next video.